for Tuesday, the 30th of January. I'm Stephen Ridgway. Update on Ivanti. If you recall, there were vulnerabilities in the Ivanti Connect Secure VPN appliances. The appliance is formerly known as Pulse Secure. The firm had been planning to release patches in a staged or staggered schedule beginning on the 22nd of January. However, it appears that through testing, they have had quality issues and there are delays. So if you are using the Ivanti Connect Secure VPN solution, the mitigations that you put in place when the vulnerabilities were announced need to stay in place. Keep your eyes open for the patches. They will be coming. They are being worked on. But right now, you are still at risk. So be aware of that one. It has been a while now since the vulnerabilities were found. There are exploits out there. Recommendation to run Ivanti's external integrity checker tool. There's further information on the Ivanti website around what you should be doing in the interim. There are vulnerabilities in WatchGuard and Panda security products that could allow attackers to cause denial of service conditions or execute arbitrary code with system privileges. The bugs were identified in the Panda kernel memory access driver, which is PSK-MAD_64.sys. Which is installed. It's installed alongside WatchGuard, EPDR, Panda AD360, and Panda Dome for Windows. The first of the issues that have been identified is being tracked as CVE 2023-6330 as a memory pool overflow. The second CVE 2023-6331's out of bounds write issue that can lead to a kernel memory overflow. Watch out for these. There are patches available. So if you are using either of those devices, do check to see what versions you're on. If you're using WatchGuard's EDPR or Panda AD360, aim for version 8.00.22.0023 or Panda Dome version 22.02.01. Excuse me. Mercedes-Benz accidentally exposed sensitive data, including their source code. Looks like they left a private key insecure and visible on the internet, which has led to the compromise of their source code. So the exposed repositories included some Microsoft Azure and Amazon Web Services credentials, Postgres database, Mercedes source code. Ouch. I don't think you need to unduly worry this if you have a Mercedes. However, it is a timely reminder to make sure that you are managing your private keys properly. In this case, the token provided unrestricted access to Mercedes GitHub Enterprise server, basically allowing anybody to retrieve the company's private source code repositories. Be certain that if you are using, the private keys that you are using, because you undoubtedly will be in one way or another, that those are properly secured somewhere. This particular one was left exposed in a public GitHub repository. Scan your stuff, make sure that you know where these things are. If you can do it, put in place rotation of private keys. Yes, I know that's a pain. However, once stuff's out there, it's out there, right? So you should have a process by which you can replace these things. Microsoft Teams has been hit by a second outage. The outage is focused in North and South America at the moment. It's been ongoing for 3 days. Before anybody goes off on one about this must be down to some sort of cyber attack, it is actually more likely that this is just due to some kind of misconfiguration, change, or update that has been released within Microsoft. So they are working on it at the moment. If it hasn't actually been fixed by now, I'm sure it will be fixed quite quickly. The health page does say everything is up and running, but you know what it's like, especially with Microsoft. Historically, up and running doesn't necessarily mean that yours is up and running. So be aware of that. And then finally from me today is an interesting article in the Hacker News. NSA admits secretly buying your internet browsing data without warrants. Okay, now I had to read this article twice to get my head around this properly. So if the NSA wants your internet browsing data, it can demand that from ISPs and whoever by getting a warrant that gives them the right to be given the data. Okay, all well and good. You would expect a security agency to be able to get data with a warrant. However, the same data is being sold by data brokers. Okay, now this is a bit weird. So your data, so law enforcement would need a warrant in order to legally get your data, but the data itself is for sale anyway. So something doesn't quite join up, in my opinion here. Either the data shouldn't be available for sale, or there shouldn't be a problem with the NSA or any other law enforcement agency buying it. It's either for sale and you can buy it, or it isn't for sale and it's private. So it looks like there is a mess to be unpicked there. So yeah, the privacy lobby is up in arms about blah blah blah, privacy blah blah blah, data blah blah blah, usual sort of stuff. But yeah, I think it just goes to show that if you are concerned about the privacy of data in the States, and if you are used to data privacy laws in Europe and the UK, I think that you will find US law in this space to be quite a minefield. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on this one and see if anything comes of it. But it does. I mean, so the biggest complaint at the moment is that the US government, whether the government should or should not be funding and legitimizing what's being described as a shady industry whose flagrant violations of American privacy are not just unethical but illegal, according to a quote. Yeah, curious stuff. I think the other side of this is no matter how good the privacy laws are, if the data exists and somebody wants the data, they will get hold of it. So, I've said this before, if you don't want to be caught doing something dodgy, don't do it on the internet. That is enough from me for today. I hope you have a good day, and I'll speak to you all again tomorrow morning.